All right. I believe that is everything. There it is. This, don't ask me necessarily what it is because I'm kind of just winging it. Also, hi. So far, I've kind of just been sculpting this warmer block out until I figure out what shape I want it to all be in. Took me a second to actually commit to a direction with it. I was thinking about making it go the same slant as this earlier piece, but I decided to let it fan out a little bit instead. I think that's neat. I think that looks nice. It's just a matter of finishing this blocking up and then detailing. Yeah, pretty much. Let it all come together by itself. I don't necessarily try and when I do stuff like this where it's very free, I try and keep a general direction, but I don't go in with a very specific plan. I only do the specific plans when I'm making paintings. Let me pull up a good example here. Like this one. This one I had a plan for, right? I knew what I wanted to do. I had a sketch, I had a thumbnail. That had a plan. This does not have a plan at all. It's just concept, execute. Which is very relieving because it takes off a lot of pressure. I think I have this problem where I spend too much time trying to come up with the cool idea. That tends to be my problem with music. Whenever I try and make music, I do that way too much. I gotta have the right sound. And so I'll spend a lot of time second guessing my rhythms and melodies, and ultimately scrap everything before without saving it and without going back and being like, maybe it had some potential. Nah. I hate doing that, but, I'm very particular. Then again, I also got a lot of experience with visual art, so, a lot of this is kind of just intuition at this point. A lot of insight. With music, I don't have that insight, so I guess it's forgivable for the time being. Kinda want to put some pillars around here someplace. What areas are blocked off by this guy? Okay. Those red areas are off limits. Oh man, I put all that effort into the spiral staircase and it's not even gonna be visible. Fuck. Alright, I gotta move it. I have to have it. I need this. I need it. You're coming with me. Oh man, I can't do it so brashly. I gotta surgically remove. I can't just fucking grab it. Alright, we're gonna do... Oh no, that's too much. Still too much. What the fuck? 0, motherfucker. Jesus. There we go. I have to have it. I need it. I did the same thing with this shit too. It's like, oh, that's gonna look so sick. And then I revealed this later, like, fuck! It's gone. So I have to remake that somewhere. Those fucking, the shadowy, whatever, you know, ruins in the lime green light. Surgically remove. Paste that before I lose it forever. There we go. All right. I need to retain that glitchiness. Do a little bit of that. I need scattering. All right. I have mostly recovered. Only emotionally though. A little visibly. Clearly invisibly. No. What'd I do? What did I just do? Okay. I know what I did. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're back. We are so back. Art is very emotionally damaging. Very, very much. No. I bring you over here. Just like that. Yep. Yep. Oh, that's nice. You know, we'll bring it around the corner a little bit. Okay. Okay. We're good. We got it back. We got the stairs someplace where you can see them. This is good. Whew. Yeah, for doing art on the computer, for me, I actually started off, well, as a kid, I started off on pen and paper, but when I try to become a little more pro, I started doing a lot of stuff digitally. Let's see if I've got some like good old examples. Probably not. Maybe in the bullshit folder. Here we go. Here's one. I got two. Oh shit, I got three. I got three old digital works here. Right. I used to do this a lot. You know, just a little bit of digital illustration. It's very flat though, you know, unless I do my like glitchy stuff. But very clean lines, a lot of use of the pen tool. This is something that I used to do a lot, you know, like try and do some really glitchy chaos. And then I went back to doing traditional. I did painting. And the thing I've learned from doing painting stuff is a lot of it translates really well into doing digital, like better. I find that some of the best digital artists out there kind of have some understanding of how to paint. So when I came back to it, I had changed entirely how I look at making digital. And so I kind of get like really cool textures and what have you. All these like crust. I never let go of my love of glitch and pixel art. So when I got back into digital, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do the one thing that I really enjoyed doing when I was trying to focus on digital, which is glitch and pixel stuff. I think it looks cool, and I think it translates my psychedelic art style really well. You know, I know it's supposed to be fanning out this way, but I think I'm gonna let this thing kind of like swoop in a little bit. Keep bending things. I'm sure this would be easier for most people if they had like the tablet, but this is all just mouse and keyboard for me. I've never had a good time using the tablets. I don't know how people do it. Then again, my first tablet also stopped working on me when I first used it, and I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing it again. Tablet don't work? Nope. Alright. I want more doors. Doors are good to have in this sort of setup. I thought about getting that tablet that you use real paper with. They had something like that. I felt like that might have been very useful to me because I'm so much more a tactile experience kind of guy when it comes to making art. I kind of need that tactile experience to make the magic happen. But you know, there's none of that with this, so now we can start putting in a little detail here. Just a little bit. Maybe have like one more of these up here. I feel like tablets generally are unnecessary for making glitch art because so much of it is like, I don't know, like this, the glitchiness for this, a lot of it is just like compression. Pixel art too, you know, I'm sure there's some pixel artists out there who do really well with a tablet, but I never found that necessary. Oh yeah, you know, you can get like really up in here. So much zooming. I actually used to have they were magnifying lenses that you would wear for it was the tool was meant for like making keys. You know, kind of like a binocular with a flashlight on it, so that way you could really look at what you're doing with keys on some of my paintings, but then I came to the conclusion that I should just make bigger paintings instead. Maybe not there, because as I get over here the angle changes. But yeah, they're like goggle type whatever. I don't know how to describe it. But it allowed me to like really focus on some smaller details with my brush. With my .01 round. Not really going for perfection here, even though it's mostly just blocking, even after the blocking, you know, because as you can tell with like all of this, there's so much crust. It's so rough, which is kind of the point. There's a little technical skill to it, but you know, there's plenty of artists out there that make really clean pixel and digital stuff. I don't really feel like focusing on that. I'll let them do that. I'll let them handle it all on their own. Maybe throw in like a couple of these windows. The only problem I have with doing stuff on PC is I don't have a powerful computer, so after a while it starts slowing down on me. And then I'll have like a brush stroke that won't fucking commit until like a second later. And it gets really fucking annoying, because it fucks it up, and so I have to be more patient when that happens. Low-key kind of hope that some game dev sees the stuff I'm doing and be like, man, I want to work with this guy. Lower-key hope that they want me to be the creative director of some game instead of have me like create concept art for their own concepts. Kind of find it difficult to get back into gaming because I don't particularly fuck with too many games these days. I see them and I'm like, eh. Mostly it's the aesthetics. You know what I mean? Like you see a game and it seems like it'd be interesting, but the art style just, it doesn't jive with you. That's the problem I have. I've spent a few days looking at the Steam library And there are things that I probably would be interested in, but I'm like, yeah, but it's got that style. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not for me. But then there's the other problem where like so much of it is trying to recreate a different game. I was actually thinking a lot about it earlier today when I was looking at another artist's work, a former colleague of mine. He also does a lot of fantasy stuff. But his fantasy and mine are two totally different beasts, because for me, dungeons and fantasy, specifically dungeons, is kind of like very symbolic. It's couched with a lot of like psychological and spiritual symbolism. And for him, it's like he's just trying to recreate nostalgia for old games he used to play. Which isn't to say that that's not present in my work. You know, I do get a lot of inspiration from my favorite games from growing up. But there's like a stronger identification with them for me than there ever was. Like, there's this game Tunic, right? It's supposed to recreate the feeling of playing the first Zelda game. Now, the thing about the first Zelda game is it came out during a time where there was no internet. So, when you play that game, when it first came out, it's like you get all this like obtuse, cryptic information, and you don't know what any of it means. You can't look it up. There's nothing to look up. You don't know what the fuck you're getting yourself into. You know, you'll get these like weird obscure secrets and things that you have to like burn every bush. You have to push every rock, bomb every wall until you find the way forward. Very obtuse, very cryptic, and Tunic tries to recreate that. Right, the problem with that is we now live in the age of everyone's on the internet all the time, so that cryptic shit doesn't go very far. In the end, they're just trying to recreate the material aspect of what Zelda was. But Zelda, when Shigeru Miyamoto first came up with it, came from, you know, much like my artwork here, lived experience. You know, there's aspects of his culture, his Japanese culture, you know, a little bit of Shintoism is in there, but there's also his exploration of the world, of his hometown, all the caves and what have you. I need to close this real quick because it's starting to slow down. Yeah, it was a very well-crafted game. It was, very archaic at the time, but still, for the time it was produced in, it was very, very well-crafted, very well thought out. And then you get guys nowadays who are like, I want to recreate that. And all they bring with them is their nostalgia for the game. And so it's what I call material fantasy, right? You've got the material elements, the material inspiration, but you don't really have like anything authentic about it. You know, this is the real deal because, you know, I'm dealing with some stuff. I don't know, I'm a little messed up, you know. I'm dealing with some things. So that's why if someone were to like approach me and be like, hey, you know, I want you to like make the artwork for my games, maybe. I don't know. You know, like I'd have to like really suss out the quality of this game before I commit. All right, now we can start fucking some shit up here. For starters, I want these colors to be a little cooler to match everything else. There we go. I guess start with this wall. And some color dynamic. Scattering. That's too much. Too much color dynamic. Bring that back a little bit. Bring that back a little bit. Shift this over to like green. Try and match. That. There we go. I love how crusty and textured the noise tool makes things look. It's usually considered good taste to use like, I don't know, the grid pattern, the checkered pattern style of halftone. Halftones are usually the go-to choice for pixel artists, but I don't know. I think, you know, trying to make psychedelic stuff, you kind of have to use a little bit of all of it. Otherwise, you run the risk of coming up with stuff that's not really a whole lot different from everyone else's. It's kind of that mentality that I feel like is kind of lost these days, you know? The desert rock scene back in the 90s in California, a lot of the kids from that area were like, you know, if you made something that sounded like another band, especially another band in that area, you were kind of shunned. I feel like that's missing, especially in the game design community. Like they would actually fight you if you made something that sounded like what someone else made. They would not just make fun of you, they would actually fucking get in fights about it, which I think is awesome. And so that's kind of what drove a lot of creativity and ingenuity in that genre. Like Josh Homme, the guitarist for Queens of the Stone Age, he started off in this band called Psychasso. And the thing that he came up with, his solution was to turn the treble on his guitar all the way down and turn the bass all the way up. And the effect was really good. It turned out really nice. Yeah, gotta have the ownership. You gotta have your fucking... Not too many... I don't know how many of those bands are still around or actually made it out. Caius made it out. Right, that's probably like the most prominent band from that scene. But, you know, there was this very strong urge to not sound like anybody else. And I feel like that's kind of necessary when you're making art. Also reminds me of a quote from House with Hugh Laurie, House MD, where he talks about how conflict breeds creativity. I think there's plenty of truth to that. Conflict being, I can't sound like anyone else. Can't make pixel art that looks like anybody else's. Or dungeon art, fantasy art. I gotta have my own flair about it, otherwise it's like it's just another thing that a lot of people just, oh yeah, I've seen this before. Like, no, you haven't. You haven't seen it like this. I mean, maybe you have a little bit, but like, those guys, you know, they don't know what they're fucking doing. I know what I'm doing. They don't. So, you know, go fuck yourself. I've definitely seen it. No, you haven't. No, I swear, I've definitely... Goblin Girl? No. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. Just me. Now that said, I actually had a run-in with that very conflict I was talking about, where they're like, you know, don't make stuff that sounds like other people. When I got back into making fantasy stuff, there is another artist, Goblin Tower. I don't think he's around anymore, but he made this zine called Oubliette. Let's take this closer to blue. And he thought I was like stealing his style. So he would always make like these passive-aggressive remarks at me on Facebook and Instagram, like, this is the art that I inspired. Like, sure, dude. Yeah, I'll let you have that. I don't care. Have it. You can have it because I'm not going the same direction you are. I don't care. But he was really fucking salty about it. So salty about it that he ended up completely ditching doing his dungeon stuff and decided, oh, you know what, I'm gonna try and like do something a little more urban styled. So he started incorporating a lot of like graffiti into his work. Yes, I'm still listening. Which, I mean, it worked out for him just fine. But again, I don't know if he's still around anymore. He kind of fell off. Not that I'm one to talk. I've kind of fallen off myself. I blame work. Yeah, he's probably doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, technically I'm not doing it privately at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was still like making stuff just in secret without like publishing it on his Instagram or anything, which is what I'm not doing. I haven't published anything on Instagram in a minute, which isn't new, you know. I disappear from that platform all the time. I come back, I post my work, I disappear. Come back, post my work, disappear. Yeah, it'd be that way, you know? Sometimes you really don't have much of a choice in that. That said, I do wish I could fucking do this full time, because I'm so fucking far behind on all the projects that I want to work on. Kind of, I was a little salty at work. That dude, the new, what's his fucking position? Operations manager, I guess. He's like, if you don't like this work, you should just find the thing you're passionate about and do that. Like, bruh. 1, I am. 2, not that easy. Beck Jr. I know him as Wyatt because I didn't know his name for the longest time. I just called him Wyatt because he looks like someone whose name is Wyatt. Reminds me of I forget who he reminded me of, but when he first started working there, you know, that corporate busybody attitude just made me Wyatt. This is a dude whose name is definitely fucking Wyatt. And then he talked about a little bit like respect in the workplace. You know, I don't curse. I didn't even watch The Simpsons growing up. My mom wouldn't let me. It's like, yeah, I kind of figured you were sheltered. I kind of figured you had helicopter parents. Don't ask me how I knew. I just knew intuitively. Yeah, that was something he introduced himself with. Oh, you know, my mom wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons growing up. Cool, dude. That's definitely something I want to hear. Just a wild guess. You know, I might not be right. I probably am. I was. For a second, I was humoring the idea that homeowner associations and gated communities would kind of fall in disfavor with my generation and the generation coming after me, but then I realized that we're still getting parents who are raising their kids that way, who go on to raise their kids in the same way, which means we're never going to be rid of homeowners associations for a while now, which sucks because those things are bullshit. Some brickwork. Let's do some brickwork here. Nab that color. Don't ask me how I knew, but I knew for certain that you had helicopter parents. I couldn't tell you why I knew that. I just knew. You know, it's like when you look at a guy, it's like, you know, something's just not right. Something's not right about that boy. I think I know what it is. But yeah, trying to say, oh, well, you should follow your passions. It's like, I am. It's just really fucking, my passion is really fucking expensive. Which is why I have to do digital art for a while, because paint is not cheap and neither is paper or brushes. Paper can be cheap. A Canson watercolor pad is like $12. But I'm trying to do big paintings and I don't have space for that. And rolls of paper are like $200. Maybe it's more like $100. I forget. How much are these rolls of paper? Hold on, let me look this up real quick. I can tell you exactly how much these rolls of paper cost. Dick Blick. Some passions are a lot harder to achieve in the successful business. Yeah, I actually, someone posted somewhere, I forget where. Hot press. I need arches. I need arches rolls. Can I filter by roll? Do I have to just look specifically by arches? Yeah, there it is. Hot press. $219 for 44 yards of 140-pound hot press paper. I got 2 of those, which I have not managed to use yet because again, I don't have the space for that. But I want to make big paintings. You know, that's what I want to do. I'm so used to making like small paintings that are like 15 by 11. I want to do big things, big. Huge, gargantuan. But no, I don't have the space for that. I have the material. I just don't have the space for that. But yeah, I got 2 sheets of that. Or 2 rolls of that, rather. Let's get a little green in here. The green really helps make this stuff pop out. But yeah, art is expensive. But coming back to the success, it was, what was the statistic? It was like 1 in 6 artists make over 20,000 a year. Or maybe it was like 1 in 8 artists make over 20,000 a year. And then of those 1 in 8, only 1 in 10 make over 100,000. So what this tells us is that it's not nearly as hopeless to be a successful artist as everyone believes it is, but it's also still pretty lofty. You know, like you'd have to be pretty fucking delusional. It's a small percentage, but not as small as like your teachers once told you, or my teachers once told me it was. It's like, if you're gonna try and be an artist, you're gonna be miserable, which I am. That's yeah, it's true. You're gonna have a really bad time of it, which, yeah, I am having a bad time of it. I haven't given up though, so I guess that's what matters. People love an underdog until they have to support them, though. That's a problem. Really like your work. It's so cool, dude. Cool. Are you gonna buy it? Like, oh, you should make prints. You're gonna buy one, right? No. I just think it would help you. Well, if I don't have a market for prints, then why would I make them? I'm sure someone will. Just not me. Alright, I think I'm gonna do a few more bricks on this. Take a quick break, and then I'm gonna do like a couple minutes of Inscription. Haven't played it for a few days, so kinda hankering for it a little bit. I had to take a quick break though, because the game really wants you to progress. Like the character keeps saying like, "Oh, dude, you know, oh man, it's getting so boring. Oh no, this boss again." And then it like keeps dropping hints like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, here's how you make progress in this game. You know, you need to do this so that way you can get to the next level. And it's like, I've seen what the rest of the game looks like. I already know what it looks like. I don't care. You know, because this is my favorite part of the game from what I've seen. I'm only doing this part. Thank you very much. So I had to stop for a minute there because the game was annoying me with, "You're not progressing." Stop. Let me just fucking keep losing to the first boss. I've beaten him one time. But it locks you in because it's got like a whole plot line that you got to do clever things. You don't just beat the boss and win. You got to like do some very specific shit, and I'm not about to do all of that. I just really like the atmosphere of the first part of the game. On a somewhat unrelated topic, I'm so surprised I found this combination of music genre, dungeon synth and funk. I've searched it up on a whim. I didn't expect to find anything, but when I did, I'm like, that's great. I love it. It is so indicative of the times. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there for now. The majority of this progress made has been moving stairs and adding texture. That's great. So, that's where we're at now. Let me reveal this dude so you can see where we're at with the whole thing. I might make some changes to him. The Unhinged Dream Knight. Take a look at some of this glitchiness in him. The fucking smoke coming out of, or the steam coming out of his horse's nostrils looks so much better with the JPEG compression on it. It used to just be like flat textures, but now it actually looks like genuine steam. I love it. And then there's all of like the crustiness of the wireframes over here. I still need to like figure out other ways to make it look crazy. I think that's kind of what sets my approach to digital psychedelia apart, is I'm not trying to fool anyone like a lot of other digital artists do. They try and make digital works that look like paintings or look like illustrations made with pen and ink. And I'm like, nah, this is definitely digital 100% all the way through. You're not going to be mistaken for anything else. So I'm using all the things that are so definitively digital. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna load up Inscription, play some card game, some depressing atmospheric card game, and then call it a night. Well, I'm not gonna call it a night. I'm gonna call it a night for streaming. I'm still going to be coming back to this later. I just need to step away from it for a minute. So, stretch, be back 5-10 minutes, roughly speaking.